In this module, we're going to be discussing wildland fire smoke and how it might directly or indirectly impact your building. Wildfires, wildland-urban interface fires, forest fires, urban fires, call them what you will. Fires outside of your building are happening. They're happening in grasslands, they're happening in wooded areas, they're happening in urban areas. Those fires produce byproducts that can cause your building to have a degraded indoor environment. Obviously, fires can burn your building. They can threaten your structure. They can threaten your population by direct combustion. That's not what we're going to be talking about in this module. We're going to be talking about smoke and the particulates and gases that may be present, how those things might enter your building when you're vacated, how those things might enter your building when you're occupied or sheltering in place, and some things that you can do to mitigate that, both during the fire and after the fire. As a long-term care community member, you recognize that evacuating your residence is a last option. Sometimes it is the option, but in most cases, sheltering in place is a better choice for the community. Whether you're sheltering in place or whether you evacuate your building has vulnerability to the infiltration of combustion byproducts. Even if your building doesn't catch on fire, if the nearby community or the air quality is degraded, outside air comes into your building and degrades the air quality. It can also deposit material that could degrade the air quality when people return or when activities resume. What can you do to limit the amount of infiltration of things like ash, soot, char, other particulate? Well, there's a variety of things you can do to the structure of your building. One easy one is to shut the doors and windows. Another easy one is to close your outdoor air intake. Your building is designed to bring in outside air so that you can dilute pollutants in the building that you can't otherwise remove. But if the outdoor air quality is poor, you may want to temporarily close those outdoor air intakes so that you are not delivering outside air into your community. You may want to upgrade your air conditioning filters during a wildfire event. Recognize that putting a more efficient filter in your HVAC system puts an additional load on the equipment, so make sure that your equipment is capable of handling the filter you install. But you might consider installing the best filter possible for that particular unit during a wildfire event. You may switch your fans to on as opposed to waiting for the thermostat to call for cooling or to call for heating. That way the filtration is continuous. You might purchase your own air filtration devices or reach out to one of your restoration vendors to engage them and bring in devices on your behalf. You might limit the amount of activity you do that depressurizes your building. Your building is generally supposed to be under positive pressure. It should leak outwards, right? Air should be leaving out your front door, out through your window weepholes. In the event of a wildfire, you might accidentally depressurize your building in certain zones, like your kitchen, by running your kitchen exhaust. So perhaps during a wildfire, you would change your meal plan to include meals that don't require the use of your exhaust hood. In your laundry room, when you're running your dryer, you are taking air from inside your building and driving it to the outdoors, which depressurizes your laundry room, bringing air from someplace else into the laundry room. If that someplace else is outdoors, you are actively delivering wildfire smoke, for example. So you may want to limit your laundry activities during wildfire events, or limit your drying activities during wildfire events. Now, I recognize that there are some rooms that you need to maintain under negative pressure at all times. An example might be your biohazard accumulation room. You want to maintain negative pressure in your biohazard accumulation room even during a wildfire event as part of your infection control program. During a wildfire, smoke is bad. That's why the fire department evacuates certain portions of the population, because we know that smoke can contain high concentrations of respirable or inhalable particulates, carbon monoxide, organic acids, polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons, and such. After the fire, or if you're far away from the fire, some of those smoke items are still present. Many of the things in smoke are reactive and dissipate quickly, but some of them have longevity, things like soot, things like ash, things like char. They can travel long distances and enter your building. Preventing them from getting in your building, we discussed modifications to your air conditioning system, modifications to the activities within your building, maybe even limiting your outdoor activities. But some smoke is going to get into your building. So what would you do in the case of smoke infiltration? Well, generally speaking, you're going to want to clean surfaces and you're going to want to continually filter air. You can do that yourself, or you can hire a restoration professional to assist you with that. HEPA vacuums, wet wiping, laundering, these are all tools in the post-fire cleanup toolbox. So the principles for reducing wildfire smoke infiltration in your building are also common to preventing other items from getting into your building. Let's say that there's a lithium battery fire in your parking lot, or a tanker rollover on the highway nearby with some hazardous chemical. You can apply these same principles of closing your outdoor air, turning off your air conditioning system or changing the way that it functions, closing your doors and windows, limiting your work in the kitchen, limiting your work in the laundry room to prevent depressurization. All of those things can help in the event of an other situation where the outdoor air is degraded and you want to limit that infiltration. Wildfire smoke can degrade indoor air quality even after the outdoor air smoke is cleared. Fine particulates can penetrate your structure even when the buildings are closed and the HVAC system is off. You need to establish a plan before the disaster to limit infiltration and to respond to infiltration, whether the residents are sheltering in place or they've been evacuated and you're planning to return them to the site. Wildfire threats are real. They may happen in your community today, tomorrow, or sometime in the future. Your preparing for them today is going to help reduce the impact on your vulnerable population.